Moving along here with the series in Module 2, we're going to be talking about community building for creators. So we'll go over some actual tooling and things, resources that you actually can use, and then also talk about some strategies as well. The way we want to kind of start and think about this is fan to community transformation. So let's talk about converting existing fans. First thing, obviously, you're going to want to announce your project and all the platforms you're currently using. If you don't have an X account, that's something you're going to go ahead and set that up immediately and start using it. You want to make an effort to explain the value. What are they going to be able to get from you that they can't get anywhere else? That seriously is that's a very important question. You need to ask yourself that and try to really boil it down and identify what that is. Showing some form of exclusivity creates a sense of urgency. It's going to make people that much more interested and wanting to jump on top of this potential opportunity. I've kind of laced this concept in already quite a bit, but really, I mean it. You want to demonstrate authenticity. Anything that seems fake or off, people are going to detect that pretty easily, and that will automatically kind of set you aside from other people if you genuinely seem like this is something you care about. More on the technical side of things, community platform setup. So obviously you're going to have a Telegram and a Discord. In the prior module, we went through setting up Collabland. So if you haven't seen that, make sure to check that out. Inside of there, you're going to want to set up maybe some exclusive channels for different content types so that, things and discussions can kind of be separated depending on what it revolves around. Maybe consider adding voice chat opportunities. That may be something you want to do or maybe not, but it's worth knowing that you can. Set up a content sharing area for your fans. That's only going to help generate more engagement and more activity. And, that also could lead to collaboration if that's something that you've set up or something you're considering for your tiered access in terms of what the token can do. Even though this is all like rudimentary sort of things, it's just sort of a checklist. Just be mindful of these things. Let's move on and talk about engagement strategies now that you have all your platforms actually set up. So none of this is going to be earth-shattering, I imagine, but the point of why I'm sharing this is to emphasize that you should have a plan. So this is some ideas that you can kind of draw from, but you want to sit down and make something like this for yourself, write up what it is you're going to do and how you're going to kind of interact with the community and follow that, stick to it. There's often things too inside of communities, like I know for, as a sound designer, every November we do a thing called Noisevember, and everybody posts stuff about synthesizers and all the crazy stuff they're making with electronic beats and that sort of thing. So pay attention. There's probably like community-based revolving, not necessarily like a holiday, but there's probably events going on, and maybe try to align with those. Think about what you want to do in terms of interactive content. So some really simple things you could do, obviously, are polls and decisions. Just post some artwork, ask a question. If you're asking a question, people will see that like on your timeline, and any question, actually stop and think about it. How many times have you seen an artist or somebody asking a question? Look at what kind of engagement that gets. It's pretty good. So ask, which artwork should I finish first? Something like that. Q&A sessions, set aside a dedicated, extended amount of time, maybe weekly, where you're really just sitting down answering all types of questions and really making it seem like you're present and that you want to have a community. If it doesn't look like you want to have a community, then it's not going to help you, that's for sure. Challenges and contests are a really cool thing. You could have fan art contests, or if you're a musician, you could do remix competitions, release your track and see what kind of cool stuff people come up with. That's offloading effort onto someone else entirely. If someone comes up with a remix that does really well, it's going to draw attention back to the source. At least that's the case most of the time. So that's an idea. Collaborative projects. So do something community driven. The outcome doesn't have to be great, but it's fun and draw people in. Like a musician, maybe you record one instrument for a track and then have a whole bunch of other people like assign instruments to different people and come up with some sort of collaborative track in the end that represents all of that. It can get pretty interesting. You also kind of want to make sure you're balancing this to a certain extent. You don't have to offload all this onto your community. You want to maintain some sort of creative identity. So kind of weigh that against things that you might be thinking about. Here's some personal touch elements, things you could do. They're very simple. Follow your VIP and whale holders. So people who are the most supportive. I mean, The very least you could do is follow them on their social platforms like X or Instagram. Give VIP holders or whale holders some kind of badge inside your platforms, like if you're using Discord and Telegram. It's not a lot, but they'll feel pretty cool if they're in a community of a bunch of people and they have this badge. Then that kind of signals something, and it has some sort of small intrinsic value to it. If you do any of the above where you are involving the community and they're making contributions to whatever your project is, thank them publicly. That goes a long way. And if you're kind of uplifting someone else and they're getting some attention for what they did, they're going to also become loyal to you in a certain sense. And that's a dedicated community member that you earn. Share any personal stories that you think will connect to your audience. That could be like a wide variety of things, and what's appropriate. Obviously, you have to kind of think about that for yourself. It could be different depending on if you're an artist or a content creator. But, think about that and spend some time, see if something comes to mind. Respond to message personally when you can. So, at a certain point, you're probably getting bombarded with DMs if you're doing everything else we talked about, right? But, as much time as you can, even just, an hour a week. If you just sit down and do some DM responses, it's going to make them much more likely to want to share your project and boost anything that they see you posting. So in summary, take all my suggestions for what they're worth. What you need to do is develop an engagement strategy that you feel good and that you're confident you can support long term, because consistency is going to be key. And also, simple beats complex. So it doesn't have to be this elaborate thing. Just get started, create a list. A lot of stuff that we've shared here is pretty simple, but it's effective and it gives you something to stand on. We'll discuss some more topics in the next module, so stick around for that. Otherwise, we are wrapped up, and that's it for now.